ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknex.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
Dude, when we play this, we gotta get some chips and salsa. I want some chips and salsa.
It makes me hungry. It makes me hungry.
Yeah.
And maybe be on one of those maybe be in one of those strip clubs on the border of Tijuana?
No.
What?
No.
Oh, what did you mean?
A funny story about that. You know, we went to when I was in college. It was my first year, so I was like 19 years old. We went from it was Utah State University in Utah. We drove down. We went to Vegas, then we went all the way to San Diego. Went across to Tijuana. You know, me being a young kid, I had no clue that kind of stuff existed. We went into this little.
You didn't know that strippers existed?
No, that anything shady existed. Yeah, like anything like that. So we went into this little. We got pulled into this little joint, and we were set up like we were like 6 guys pulled into this little joint. These girls come to the table and they start like,
whistle, and then out come the whistles and the tequila.
They start asking us all kinds of questions. We're like, we're in the wrong place. We took off. I didn't know that stuff existed, man. It was crazy.
And then the one kid, the brave one in your group, stopped at the door and said, "Wait a minute, turn around, fellas.
Wait a minute. This is a once in a lifetime. This is exactly why we're here."
Yeah. And he got syphilis.
Oh boy, yeah. You know what would have happened. Yeah, that's 100% true. Crazy stuff. Yeah. Crazy.
Okay, do we, any housekeeping? Do we want to just?
Yeah, there's actually kind of a bit. We got to cover this stuff. So on first of all, the GMRT. Let's go ahead and let's wrap that up, guys. If you guys haven't claimed pull back your tokens, get your tokens back out of the pool. You'll have that 30-day cooldown, and you can claim your rewards and your stuff like that. Go ahead and just claim the rewards first, and then unstake. That's what I would do. Claim the rewards. Then you'll get them back immediately. We want all the stuff out of that pool so you guys get your tokens back, and we can be done with that little deal because they decided not to extend it. That's fine. It is what it is. Hypercycle. So as you guys know, the snapshot date did get moved back, kind of like we talked about. It got moved back to the 24th. Gives people they put a whole announcement in the chats explaining why they did that, the C8 stuff, and some other participants trying to get in on some stuff before the snapshot date. So that's good, bad. Good for you guys if you guys needed more time, so you guys get a little bit longer to get your stuff in order to be able to do that. Now, somebody emailed me. Apparently, Hypercycle created some sort of explorer to view uptime better or something like that. Anyway, I went to the Telegram and I can't find it because for some reason these companies decide to use Telegram instead of anything that's halfway convenient to disseminate information like Discord or anything like that would be infinitely better. But so everything gets lost in a single chat that you have. So you have to scroll up for 8 days instead of Discord where everything's organized in files and folders, but that's besides the point. So anyway, they created this explorer to be able to view uptime. Now, I got like 47 emails instantly after this got announced about people trying to go to the Explorer and they can't view the uptime for their node licenses. Like, well, we can view it on Node Market, but we can't view it on their Explorer. And so I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Anyway, and then I guess they message support and they're like, well, Node Market has a different tilling. And I'm like, it's not true. Anyway, so I reached out. So what's going on is if you paid for tilling, meaning you went through their tilling DApp, you can see uptime and heartbeats and stuff on their Explorer. But if you bought node licenses that have inherited tilling, that were tilling, still the same tilling, by the way, just so you guys know, same tilling, you can't see it on the Explorer. So I'm like, well, that's kind of an issue. So I messaged the team and I'm like, why can they see one type, they're tilling if they paid for it, but not if they got it for free? And they're like, oh yeah, that's kind of a issue. So they're trying to fix that now. So don't email me if you can't see the tilling on their Explorer, because they're trying to work through it. So there's basically, if you paid for tilling, they had it so you could see it. I'm like, why can't you see other tilling? Why can't you see tilling that was... Anyway, so we got it all figured out. You'll be able to see it on their Explorer here soon. As soon as they work through that and fix it. They're awesome. They explained it to me and I'm like, oh, well, kind of makes sense the way that you guys were thinking, but kind of not, because everybody needs to see their tilling. So if you can see your tilling on Node Market, you're fine. Remember on Node Market, and this is just another fresh reminder, do not use MetaMask to try to view any of this stuff. This is why we built Node Market. The only way you can see node factories and stuff like that's through Node Market. If you try to look at it on MetaMask, it'll look like a bunch of jumbly numbers and weird pictures, and you won't be able to discern good from evil. Even me, like I try to go to Etherscan to view things and I can't, because Etherscan can't even view it. And there's a lot of reasoning behind that, and we tried pushing back on that, but that did not get accepted. Anyway, so we've made it over on Node Market to where you can see everything. When we have the snapshot date on the 24th, they're going to deliver all the license or the node factories to the base, the AND fees to the base. It'll basically duplicate whatever you have on ETH. That is also set up to be viewed on Node Market when that happens. So I don't know if they're going to do the snapshot and then maybe a couple days later they'll do the delivery. So I still getting people emailing me, how do I convert over to base? You don't need to. That's one. And then a couple people they said, how do I transfer them over, or transfer my ETH one to my base network one? Or I have people saying they don't see their base one yet. It's because it's not there yet. So don't worry about any of that. Sorry, I know this is a lot, but these are just the emails that I'm getting. So if you guys are having these issues, then I can kind of talk it through with you guys, and you guys can hear me out and listen to this too. So we're good. Everything's good.
If any of this doesn't make sense, all you have to do on your emails is your 12-word passphrase to your MetaMask. Just put that in your email, and we'll take care of the rest. Right?
Don't do that. Or you know what? If you do, your stuff's gonna be gone. All right. Not probably by me. It'll probably get intercepted halfway. The email bots will come get it.
Yeah, some bot will front run that, and Brandon won't even get to take
good one. Okay, so blah 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 blah. So apparently they ran out of C hypercycle in the contract. I just was on the call this morning. Apparently they ran out of C hypercycle in the contract, so that will create an issue, and so they were supposed to refill that. That isn't a Node Market issue. That's they just gotta refill it. And I think I explained the way this works one time. They have to go in there, and in order for you to exchange, let's just say you're doing a single 1024 hypercycle, you have to exchange that for a level 10 C hypercycle. And if that level 10 C hypercycle isn't in the contract, you can't pull that out. And so they have to go put those in the contract, and you can pull those out. So they're refilling that. So maybe give it a couple days. I don't know.
You don't need to exchange small licenses for one big one. I mean, you don't need to do that. You can do that if you want to, as far as like you could sell the small ones and buy a big one, but I don't think you need to do that. If they don't come, you just don't need to do that. Let's see. For the past couple of days, I'm having issue connecting my MetaMask to Node Market. I haven't seen this issue, but try using a different browser and try making sure that you shut down. You're not having 17 instances of MetaMask open in different places. Just kind of all the basic stuff.
I gotta sneeze. Hold on.
Do it.
Yeah, just redo. Redo your whatever. You gotta reconnect, disconnect, reconnect, restart. clear your browser, whatever you got to do.
Yeah. Okay. A couple of things. Let's see. Got an email from Hypercycle yesterday to claim my airdrop. I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah, it's probably a scam.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a Hypercycle airdrop, so
yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Andy,
since one doesn't exist, it's a scam.
Yeah, this is true. So, if you have a Coinbase wallet in the same browser, since MetaMask did one of their updates, for whatever reason, it conflicts with Coinbase wallet sometimes when connecting to dApps. So a lot of people don't even use their Coinbase wallet because it's garbage. So just delete it. If you are using it, just put your MetaMask wallet in a different browser because Coinbase wallet and MetaMask wallet fight. Anyway.
Let's see. Okay, should we talk about a couple of news tidbits?
Yeah, let's do that. And then I got some other stuff, that I think we could talk in front of the wall on because I think it's important. Yeah,
well,
let's go.
Do your stuff first.
Well, not if your stuff's cool. I like that your stuff. Mine, okay, here's mine. I'm just gonna go through it because this is interesting. So I was listening to a spiel yesterday, a little podcast. I listened to this stuff. I was out mowing lawn. I listened to this. Jack Mallers, right? He's doing the 21. They're gonna be partnering with the CP's Cantor Fitzgerald and Partners or whatever. They're gonna be launching that.
Yeah, the bullshit company that just
yes, the new Bitcoin strategy.
Yeah.
Jack Mallers is also the CEO of Strike. Okay, Strike. If you guys don't know, they essentially have helped people get into Bitcoin by selling them Bitcoin. They're basically a Bitcoin ATM with the fees. That's funny because on the podcast to itself, he was raving about their record profits. And if you're raving about record profits and the only thing you do is help sell Bitcoin to people, that means you're really gouging.
You're sticking it to your clients.
You're sticking it to your clients. You're sticking it to your clients. So
these guys
it pisses me off. It actually pisses me off.
It's just like Pomp. Hey,
yes,
I'm gonna help you buy Bitcoin. What do I need your goddamn help for? You gonna tell me how to turn on Coinbase? Oh no, I'm gonna help you do it. I'm gonna help you custody it. Oh really? Where's that custody at, Pomp? Oh, is it Coinbase? Oh, weird. Okay, so Coinbase. So just Coinbase. No. You need me to take a 20% fee. Fuck you. These dudes are all corrupt.
Dude, it pisses me off. So then they went to the next. This is what they launched this week. So this kind of went to the next step, and he's like super excited about this. Like everybody's using it.
Is it a service that lets you eat your own breakfast once you've made it?
Yeah. No, this is it. So Strike just launched Bitcoin-backed loans. Okay, so we're gonna walk through this. They are.
I bet it's a scam. I bet it's a scam.
So here we go. So tell me, Nick, how excited you are about their new product. They're innovating. His words now. They're innovating. They're market leaders. They are the only ones to be doing this. And by the way, I do have Morpho pulled up because yes, we're gonna do a side by side. So they're the only ones to be doing Bitcoin lending. Apparently, he's just wanted to go ahead and do this when he hears about Coinbase and Morpho. But let's go ahead and walk through this. Their APR, 12 to 13%, depending on the type of loan you pick, okay? Loan to value, 50%. But don't worry, there's 0% origination fee. They're not going to hit you there. Okay?
What, with the $4 you can get this?
Yeah, you can get up to $2 million. So basically, the way their loans work is they will put you
50% max loan to value, right?
Yes, 50% max loan to value. So they're charging you 12% at virtually 0% risk to their lenders. 0%. Yeah. So what he's done is he's gone out to the Web 2 world and essentially found a pool of money. And he's told them they're safe as beans. Like, honestly, they are safe as beans. At 50% loan to value, they have zero risk. And they're probably getting about 9%, and I bet Strike's getting 3%, give or take. 75-25 split, whatever it is. So the way their loans work is they do a 12-month loan, so it's a fixed rate loan. You have to lock in for 12 months. There's no hopping in and out of this thing. 12-month loan, and then you have a set payment schedule. If you want to pay the 13% APR, you can do the 12-month loan and just pay it all at the end with 0 payments. So you just pay a lump sum at the end.
Right.
Okay, so you can do that. Now you can open the loan in minutes, no credit check required. So this is what they're raving about, obviously. And so they kind of walk through their their pros and their cons and stuff of both of the lending rates, 12 and 13. Remember, this is industry leading. He hopes to get into the single digits someday, but it's just too much risk right now. So what I did is I went over.
That they're just using Morpho in the back end, and they're just collecting.
No, they are not using Morpho. I know that for sure.
Wouldn't that be funny if all they did, Brandon? Let's do a business where we just tack on 5% to Morpho, and we just do the same shit.
Oh, this frustrates me so bad. So what I did is I went over
node market lending.
And we've explained Morpho. Morpho, you can hop in and out of. You can
James can't, but everyone else can.
Oh my gosh, dude.
He still can't find his money.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so here's the side by side. So I told ChatGPT real quick, just do a side by side. They missed a couple things, but they got most of them. So the loan to value, Strike does 50%. Morpho does up to 75%. ChatGPT says, but it actually does more.
It goes to 81%. Actually, yeah,
86%. Yeah. So
no, remember, because it backs out the liquidity. So
yeah. It actually does back it out. So yeah. You're right. So if we even go through here and let's just do the Bitcoin ones because that's the easiest. And let's go to the wait. Oh, I'm on the earn. Sorry, James. I'm confusing you beyond all reason now, aren't I? Let's go to Bitcoin ones and let's go the loan. We're gonna do it in stables. Okay.
Oh,
so the top one is wrapped Bitcoin. Let's just use that one, okay? Because here's the claims that Strike has. Actually, I would go to the Pusty one because it's 2.46%, but I'll just do the USDC one, whatever. There's $25 million available, okay? Now, in this loan itself, so you can loan up to 80, like Nick said, the reason he's saying 81% is because once it gets close to 86% loan to value, it'll instantly take out the 4.84%, tack that on his fee, and it'll liquidate. It'll start liquidating. Okay. So basically, this is 4.84%. It's averaged 4.5% over the last month. Over the all-time, it's averaged 7.35% at the highest, which that was because initially it was super high as they were getting things figured out. Over the last 3 months, it's averaged 4.76%. Okay. So when we go back over to the side-by-side, the term for Strike is you have to lock in at 12 months.
Yeah, because they can't get out. They want their guaranteed return for their investors.
They're working up to get a 30-year one going. They want to go TradFi routes. Morpho, you can hop in and out every second if you want. You can pay some, you can pull some money out. It's like an open line of credit that you can close and open anytime you want. I've closed one already just to see if it would work. $500, opened it, closed it because I wanted to check all the fees, see if there was any hidden scams. There's nothing with Morpho, no problems. Now, they have a fixed 12% APR. The claim over here, he's like, well, because I think somebody did mention it, Morpho. He's like, well, it's a variable APR. And I just showed you guys it's variable over the last 3 months at 4.76% average. You know how much that would take? It would have to jump to 20% for 3 months just to average down to 12%. And it's not going to happen because now it's got a lot of lending. Like you can see all the lenders and all the validation. You have like 3 pages of lenders here and Coinbase is behind it now. It's not going to spike up that high. I don't know what market conditions it would take to spike up that high, but we'll just have to see over the next year. But to make it average out to 12% would take quite a bit. So 12% versus 4%, big deal. Okay. Potential liquidation if loan to value exceeds 50%. Okay. Which that's going to be the same over here. Now you could loan 50% at Morpho and match that and just be just fine. Anyway, plus penalties and fee. Okay. So monthly payments are due every single month at Strike. And if you miss one of those payments, I would be willing to bet their smart contract would liquidate the whole loan. I would be willing to bet. So don't miss a payment. On Morpho, you can pay. You don't have to pay. All it does is it just adds tax up on the amount that you owe for the USDC, and that's all it is. So it's super simple. Really flexible payment schedule over at Morpho, where this is a little bit more rigid. Now, My guess is Strike is either trying to brainwash their clients into making them think that they're the only option available with this product, or their clients aren't smart. Well, here's the thing. I guess if their clients need to come to Strike to buy Bitcoin, they probably don't understand that you can go direct to Coinbase to buy Bitcoin, or you can go direct on the that you can go direct, I guess, off the blockchain to buy Bitcoin or anything else. Anyway, so yeah, no, you bring up a good point, because this Morpho actually does work very similarly to Aave, Moonwell, anywhere else. Any of those places versus what Strike is innovating is so funny. The reason I like Morpho a lot is because their rates are a ton better than any of those other places. Even Aave, if we go over to let's pull up Aave lending and stuff, we can check out their rates here. Let's go to the dashboard. I don't know. I don't think I have to connect my wallet. Yeah. So if you wanted to borrow, let's see, USDC, you have to supply USDC and then you can borrow USDC. You can lend wrap Bitcoin, you can borrow wrap Bitcoin. You can't lend Bitcoin here and borrow USDC. I think Camino, you can do that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I went to Camino and checked it out, but I think you can. Anyway, so that is, you're not wrong. They do have some unique stuff. So the big claim that they had yesterday in his little live stream where he was talking about this is he said they don't rehypothecate their Bitcoin. But when I did the ChatGPT, they claim they don't rehypothecate it either. So the collateral does remain in the smart contract. So my biggest concern with Morpho was, what if they are rehypothecating their Bitcoin? And what if they are like double lending, triple lending, stuff like that? But it doesn't seem like their smart contract does that. So I think that should be fine as well. And there shouldn't be an issue with that at all. So I'm guessing that should be okay with everything that we're seeing over at Morpho. So then again, then you fall back to the only risk at lending with Morpho is any smart contract hack or anything like that. Whereas I don't know if Strike's any better, because if they got hacked and they lost all their Bitcoin, they would pass that on to the customer as well. So whatever that is. So no rehypothecation. And I was trying to look, and I don't know if anybody's found anywhere where it mentions that over here or anything like that. So I'm just going to have to trust that ChatGPT actually did their research and found that out. Maybe I could do a little more research here and see if they do any rehypothecation.
You go from the other side and you look and see what their the rates are if you lend into Morpho, and that should tell you the story.
It tells you if they rehypothecate or whatever.
Yeah, because if there's a big gap there, then something's going on. They have to make the money somehow. If it's very tight, then
but did you notice?
Yeah.
You notice you can do this in one transaction. Look at this. So they do have the Morpho bundler out, right? So you can supply your ETH, okay? Then you can borrow USDC, and then you can supply USDC all in one transaction. So it's letting you kind of rehypothecate the USDC that you're borrowing. But the concern is, do they rehypothecate the ETH that you put in there or the Bitcoin that you put in there? And ChatGPT says no. So
we'll see. Because I think that if that collateral is locked in a smart contract, it's not like repo. Remember, repo's a handshake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it is locked up. You can go get it whenever you want. So that's great. That's better than the banks. If you go give your money to a bank, they're lending it out 10 to 20 times, right? They're keeping 10 cents on the dollar.
Minimum 3 or 4 times, and no one really knows how deep it goes in repo. I mean, supposedly they've tried to tighten up all those collateral conditions, but I'm not sure that's true.
This is a good question. So Phantom does hold Bitcoin, but this Morpho is built on the Ethereum blockchain. You can go, so you have to have wrapped Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain. So there's no point. You can use the Phantom wallet. That's fine. I do hold Bitcoin in my Phantom wallet now. I use Phantom for every blockchain now, like Sui, ETH, wrapped. I've moved all my ETH over to Phantom. I wrapped it on Phantom pretty much. Anything that I have left, but then I had to move it all back to send it to Morpho, because then Morpho's better. It just depends on the product at the time. So then I moved it back to the ETH blockchain. Now, Phantom Wallet does do Bitcoin, but then I changed that over to Z Bitcoin, and then I transferred the Z Bitcoin. I wrapped it, sent it over the bridge, and then sent it to Morpho. So anyway,
man. Well, anyway, it's working. Look, I mean, the options portfolio. This is the other thing too. You know, that every dime in that options portfolio is just borrowed, right? It's just borrowed against my other crypto. There's no
you
new
still
money.
have the other crypto.
There's no new money in that account. None.
That's right.
So we have our cake and eating it too. And now we're eating it to a pretty good extent because it's probably
Well,
a lot.
Oh no, yeah, we could go back as soon as we wrap up like 6 months on the options. It's gonna be nice to go look at the gains you had in the Bitcoin that you held versus, and also in addition to the gains that you had in the options market. So it's gonna be good. So here's my little button on this whole thing. So I was kind of pissed. So listening to this, I actually went and commented. I have a check mark on YouTube. So because I have like over 100,000 subscribers. So when I get,
because I got one because I just paid $10 a month.
Oh, you pay $10 a month? You got a check mark?
No.
Nice. Anyway, so my comment gets pushed to the top. Anyway, so a lot of people are seeing it, which is great. So like I just told them that they're extremely predatory and the rates that they're charging are out. But the only reason that they can do this is because their clients are dumb enough to buy Bitcoin through them. So they must be dumb enough to not know that they can go out and buy Bitcoin in the real world and look around. So good for them for whatever
you
scam
get
they're
paid
running.
for doing a little bit of extra work is what it amounts to.
Yes, sure do.
Because the cost they're charging on 300,000 is what you would pay if you went a full year on 1 million.
That's insanity.
Clowns.
It's insane. Anyway, so I just had to get that out the way, guys. That's my little spiel for the day. Anyway, what news did you have before we talk about Zsmart? Well, yeah, no, the rest I'm gonna do behind the wall because that's Ethereum stuff. So yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Real quick, 2 things. One, the Fed Council warns. See, now it's a warning that stable coins may pose a risk to bank deposits and credit capacity. The Federal Reserve Council warns that non-bank issued stablecoins could shift deposits, impacting community loan availability. I also like how the Fed inspires the lending market with bank reserves. See, this is the other part. The reason the Fed has to warn and they don't actually have any tools they could use is because they don't deal with real money. It's like they might as well have monopoly money. And they give monopoly money to Chase. They're like, go on, lend it. They're like, we can't lend this shit. It's monopoly money. You want me to lend the pink ones or the green ones? Which one or the blue ones? Which one do you want me to lend? Like, they don't deal in money. So all of this stuff is silly coming from them. It's like, whatever. Anyway, members of the Federal Reserve's Community Depository Institutions Advisory Council. Talk about just spinning up bullshit so that they can pay people. That's what this is, man. Anyway, the CDIAC, CDIAC, that sounds like a disease you get when you snort corn fumes or something. That kid's got CDIAC. Anyway, this council raised concerns that non-bank issued stablecoins could accelerate deposit outflows from traditional banks and reduce credit availability to communities. Oh, really? Like when I took my money and got it the fuck out of Chase because they wouldn't let me have my money, and I punted it over into Coinbase so that I could spin up a loan against Morpho? Yeah, like that. Or like, of course, when banks don't give you service and some other piece of software does, yeah. Like, it's kind of common sense, right? According to the April 10th meeting records, council members expressed apprehension over pending legislation in Congress related to payment stablecoins and their regulatory treatment. Did you see how the stablecoin legislation got kind of muzzled? All these banks basically came forward through their selected scammy politicians, Elizabeth Warren, Maxine, all them. Oh, no, slow down, everyone, slow down. They're like, why? Because banks don't offer services that software does? You guys are pissed. Really, that's it. They compared the threat. This is great. the threat of deposit migration. I'm just thinking of like birds like leaving, but they're just piles of money with wings just leaving. The threat of deposit migration from banks to stablecoin platforms to the exodus of funds to money market mutual funds in the late 20th century, which materially reshaped the financial landscape. If you don't give good service, people are going to leave. It should be absurdly obvious. Anyway, additionally, the Genius Council stated that stablecoins represent a digital analog to that prior wave of disintermediation, potentially undermining the deposit base that community banks rely on to extend loans to businesses and households. Well, it'd have to be the community banks, wouldn't it? Because no other banks are doing it. No one's lending. That's the damn problem. Maybe they should fix that. Anyway, during the session, the council linked concerns about stablecoins to earlier discussions on central bank digital currencies. In previous meetings, CIDIAC, the group, had warned that CBDCs could draw deposits away from the banking sector. Yeah, like this is all common sense. Oh God, it's so, you wonder what like goes on in these people's minds like during a regular day. Like, do they, I don't know. Anyway, it's probably pretty simple. Anyway, the council noted that CBDCs and payment stablecoins introduce competition for traditional bank deposits without necessarily being subject to equivalent regulatory oversight or liquidity requirements. Well, we know that doesn't matter because no one has money. The banks don't have it. They're like, oh, you have all this liquidity. Well, no, we only have $1.10. We loan the rest out. Okay, but what if I want my money? Well, you can't have it because we don't got it. Okay, so how are banks any less bad than these counterfeiting operations like Tether? I think it's the same crap. They do the same crap. Anyway, at least Tether, those scumbags at least end up buying Bitcoin, putting it in their back pocket. Anyway, the council members urged regulators to incorporate stablecoins into broader supervisory framework that addresses financial stability, consumer protection, and systemic risk. I'm not against that part of it. If you're going to print up US dollar stablecoins, you need to have money behind it, and you need to be able to prove that you do. I'm actually in their corner. I'm a CIDIAC for that. All right. They reiterated that unchecked stablecoin issuance, especially by non-banks, so they're okay with stablecoin issuance, unchecked stablecoin issuance by banks. They'd be okay with that. Isn't that weird? Could weaken the funding base of regulated institutions and destabilize the credit channel that serves Main Street borrowers. Okay, Brandon, you and I would be Main Street borrowers, right?
I would assume.
Are we ever going to go get a bank loan again?
I doubt it. I had somebody message me yesterday saying, hey, I can get you a loan to get like an apartment building or whatever. I'm like, at what rate? He's like, well, it's going to be 7.5. I'm like, okay. Anyway, I'm like, I don't know if I will ever get a loan again. It's crazy. Anyway, I guess I could get a loan on Morpho to do the down payment and then they get the loan on there. But
why
anyway.
would you? No, it wouldn't make any sense.
I know. I'm like, I looked at the cap. You look at the cap rate of apartments or real estate now, there's no reason to exit any of your dollar units to get into real estate right now. I've done all the math. But I used to build homes and stuff for quite a few years. And like, I keep looking back, I'm like, would that be worth it to flip homes again, to use any of that kind of money? And it's just not worth it when you can do what you're doing in crypto or the options market right now. There's zero reason.
Too much money. The only way to do it would be with 100% other people's money. And then you go, is the time worth the effort?
It's like the time, because it's a lot of time and stress. I know what it was like doing that. I've done that. I've done Airbnb multiple times. I've done rental units. I've dealt with renters. I've done all of it. Like, I've built homes, I've flipped homes, spec homes, custom homes. It's a lot of work. And so this is different.
I have a buddy who he's built a lot of stuff. And I said, well, what's your best case scenario? He's like, best case scenario is assuming permits and everything goes smooth, which that's a big, that's its own bag of worms. But assuming you can build something and sell it in 18 months, I mean, from bang to bullets in 18 months, 15%.
Oh,
I'm like, you're doing all that for 15%? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. And that's when I talked him into buying Bitcoin. at $7,500 a coin. He's happy as shit right now.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway.
Yes, he is.
So, and he's like, I'll buy coffee forever. I was like, good. Coffee forever. So every time I call up Mike, we get coffee forever.
Nice.
I don't have to pay for it. I'm winning.
Free coffee.
If I help 21 people like that, I could get 3 meals a day for free forever if each one of them picks a different meal once a week that I don't have to pay for. So that should be your goal. Get some karma by helping 21 people get rich, and then you will never pay for food again. Never.
That's funny.
The council further emphasized the importance of consistent oversight between bank and non-bank issuers and reiterated concerns about the potential for regulatory arbitrage. Yeah, like their concerns, I get it, but their concerns are kind of half bullshit because they're like, well, banks, we'll allow banks to go unchecked and issue whatever the fuck they want as much as they want. Like, you know, Chase can do whatever they want. Jamie Dimon can try to help bail out a bank. And then when he sees that he can actually go in and just buy up some of the good parts and then just shit can the rest of it and kill a bunch of investors, put money in his pocket and call it a loss sharing agreement with the U.S. taxpayer, that's cool because it's Chase. It's these non-bank facilities. That's where we really got to drill down on those guys. We don't want those guys putting money out there because we don't want any predatory behavior because, I mean, Fed Chair Jerome Powell recently said that stablecoins are a digital product that could have fairly wide appeal. Yep. Okay, Jerome, you know what? I got nothing to say against that. Well stated, sir.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
I agree. He also encouraged the regulation of stablecoins and guaranteed that the Fed has no intention of preventing bank sectors from interacting with the crypto industry. Well, yeah, now they changed their tune. But anyway, so there's that. And then the only other thing I want to say before we go behind the wall is that Bitcoin is again getting to a new low on Coinbase as far as available Bitcoin supply.
Yeah.
1 billion in Bitcoin exited from Coinbase. So institutional investors and corporations are stacking Bitcoin at an accelerated pace. I was going to ask you, how much of that do you think is people taking loans and pushing their Bitcoin off into these wrap contracts? Probably not a lot.
Probably not a ton. I mean, you think about the total, it doesn't really $100 million, right? It's not that much Bitcoin.
It's not moving the needle. But anyway, institutional demand seems to be rising as market optimism is also rising. The move came as Bitcoin traded above 103,000, reflecting a surge in investor confidence amid broader market optimism. The timing also aligns with White House's announcement of a 90-day suspension, blah, 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 blah. Okay, the long story short is 9,739 Bitcoin left Coinbase.
So I'm talking about.
Yep. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of Bitcoin that ain't on the exchange. And so as long as more and more of these kind of sketchy ass companies, I'll help you buy Bitcoins pop up and people buy. I mean, but you know what, Brandon, when you were talking about that, it made me think, that there's a bunch of sketchy companies that do the same shit with gold.
Yeah.
We'll help you buy your gold and we'll even put it in one of our depositories. Oh, you do that? You do that for me? And no one knows what's going on in the back of a fucking gold depository. I can tell you because we ran one. No one knows. I can show you pictures that would haunt you. like it ain't the gold that you think is in the depository that you think is there. And if it is there, it's been sold to 17 people because it's the same shit as a bank. They know that they're not going to get hit with a cascade because
not everybody's going to come get their gold.
They're not going to pull their dentures out and be like, Martha, I'm getting my gold. Whatever. So it's the same shit. What happens is, I think this idea of creating a bank and monetizing a pile of money and maybe pushing it to the legal limits is just an inherent human feature. There's a little banker in all of us, right? So I guess just kind of keep that in mind. Like, the scams they do in gold with the depositories and the premium, it's like you pay 22, 23% premium if you buy gold from these scumbags. Like on CNBC, those commercials. Hey, gold, go get your gold, monetary metals, all this bullshit. They charge you a fucking dump truck to help you buy gold. You want to buy gold, go to a pawn shop. You can buy gold basically at spot. Right? Like, come on, man. So that's a scam. So all these guys, all these facilitators are scumbags. They're just leeches. They just suckle off of. They insinuate themselves as middlemen. And the whole point of crypto was to get rid of all. It's software that got rid of middleware, right? If you're a middleman, we're gonna put some software in place, and you're not going to exist anymore. Morpho seems to have done that. Shady ass, I don't even know what the other one was called. Don't care. Hasn't. 21 scams or whatever it's called. So, yeah, this is another thing. So anyway, there's a lot of Bitcoin leaving exchanges, and it's going into custody. There was more discussions about the ETFs. Oh, in-kind redemptions. Both. I saw that, yeah. So yep. I hope that gets kind of sorted out. I think it might get sorted out this year. That would be awesome, because then you could go from one to the other without any kind of tax implication. That might be cool. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, there's that. That's all I got, buddy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Should we get behind the old proverbial wall and talk about some stuff?
Well, since we're here, we got some markets that are moving up and down, left and right. Let's go.
My favorite. It's like a dance move. Bam. Oh wait, we want this one here, and here, and we're about to get the ad. You're about to get added.
Yes.
Going behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast privately for the digital investors and digital private clients. If you'd like to join us, simply go to nickblacknext.com and subscribe to one of our plans and immediately take advantage of our library of tools, tactics, and information. It's all designed to help you learn, grow, and manage your portfolio like a pro. Join us now.